So, what I don't get is that what I've always heard for businesses is that the customer is always right. Even when they're wrong, the customer is always right. So, we now live in a time that when a product like Star Wars is starting to fail, instead of blaming themselves for them not meeting the customer's wants, they're blaming the customer for being racist and not liking the product, like just being racist or bigots. And it's just getting to the point where, like, what are you helping? You're like, what are you doing? Like, do you think that by calling the fans names and grouping, I know they're trying not to say that, oh, the people who didn't like it, we're not trying to say if you didn't like it, you're racist, but basically they are. I mean, in every sense they are, because people who didn't like it, they voice it, and basically Ryan Johnson, Kathleen Kennedy, John Caston, all these people that are part of Lucasfilm, they basically paint this picture of, if you don't like it, either just suck it up, watch it, give me your money, and if you don't like it, you're a racist and a bigot. And it's like, no other place runs like that. McDonald's doesn't run like that. McDonald's isn't going to change their formula and change to some vegetable, like, just to cater to vegans. In the end, they're going to lose money. They're going to lose just as much money as Solo lost. Why? Because, Solo was an okay movie. It wasn't great. It definitely could have been a lot better, but because of Lucasfilm. But Solo was a byproduct of The Last Jedi not pleasing the general audience. The general audience, from the first weekend to the second weekend, it had one of the biggest drop-offs from the first weekend to the second weekend. So, I mean, they're probably still happy with, well, I wouldn't say they're even happy with the numbers, because they should have made similar numbers to The Force Awakens, but, people were still hyped after The Force Awakens, and you see it from the first weekend at The Last Jedi. They made, like, I don't know, I'm not even going to try to guess, but I know they made a lot of money the first weekend, and the second weekend was one of the biggest drop-offs in the box office ever. Like, it was 65 to 70% drop-off, which is huge. So they played off the nostalgia of, they're bringing back Luke, Leia's still there. They tried to play off nostalgia, and after people saw it the first weekend, they weren't buying to see it the second or third time. I unfortunately saw it 2 times, and it took me 2 times to realize it was a bad movie. Basically thought about it every single day of why I did not like this movie. And once I started digging deeper, it was because, in the end, Lucasfilm was run by a bunch of, I would say they're probably the most racist people ever. Just from the comments, if you listen to the comments coming out of Ryan Johnson, and, diversity is great, but when Ryan Johnson, who is a white guy, saying that he wants less white people directing, doesn't that come across as really weird, since he's a white dude directing a Star Wars movie? Like, if you genuinely believe there should be less white people, then why are you directing a Star Wars movie? Like seriously, like, that's, I don't know if hypocritical is the right word for that, but that is so that's such a stupid statement. And it's basically, they're making these characters, like, Star Wars has always been diverse, and that's the great thing about Star Wars. And now it's like getting to the point where, like, okay, you're trying to put these diverse characters, but they serve no meaningful role, or they're just bland or boring. They serve no purpose to the story. And even the people who are supposed to be the forefront of the story, they're lame. They're all lame. Rey is a boring character who doesn't lose. She has not lost in a single movie. So what do you cling to? Like, was anyone ever afraid that she would turn to the dark side? Was anyone actually afraid? Like, I thought, when I first saw the movie, I'm like, they might actually take a chance here. They might actually make her go to the dark side. But obviously, I got fooled. I got fooled with that. They didn't actually do anything risky with this movie, which would have been I probably could have forgave a lot of things if she goes to the dark side. That would have been like, wow. Like, that would have been something I had never seen before. Like, someone who they're trying to obviously make a Mary Sue and then just turn her to the dark side, which it would have made a lot more sense with her character and the decisions and how easily she used the Force. Like, that would have made the most sense. In the end, no, they had no intention of doing that. But back to my point of diversity, it's like they put in these characters who are lame and then serve no purpose. Rose is purposely supposed to be a lame character, and for some reason we're supposed to like her. If she served some kind of meaningful role, and no, it wasn't saving Finn that was a meaningful role. That was so stupid. It's like everything with these movies, it's like they can't figure out whether they're a sequel or a reboot. In the end, they become sort of in between a sequel and a reboot, and it failed. It failed to be either or. And it's like, just choose one or the other. Like, don't try to be both. Because in the end, Force Awakens is like A New Hope. Last Jedi is sort of like Empire Strikes Back, but it fails in every regard of being like Empire Strikes Back. It was a lame story with Luke being a lame character, and again, like, I just feel like Episode 9 is just gonna be another similar story to Return of the Jedi. And you can't say the prequels were like the originals. I mean, at least with the prequels, they had original stories. It was just an original. Like, you never ever thought like, oh, this is like New Hope, and this is like, Empire Strikes Back. Like, everything, like, they follow the same pattern as the original. They have three main characters, even though I don't know why they're following Finn. Finn is kind of just a useless side character at this point, and I don't really know the point of Poe. Besides that, he's supposed to take over as general, but he's just another lame character. And like, they're supposed to make it seem like Rey, Finn, and Poe are like these people replacing Leia, Luke, and Han. But I mean, Poe doesn't really even meet Rey until like the end of The Last Jedi, so I don't really even know. Like, it's just an odd like relationship and thing that they're focusing on, and it's like, how are we supposed to like these characters? Like, they're not likable characters. They're not. And I've heard every single argument, why it was a good movie, and it wasn't a good movie. Like, you can think it's a good movie, good for you. I mean, if you enjoyed it, great. I really wanted to like it. But man, if you believe that there couldn't have been a better movie on the screen, then you are crazy. I think anyone could have made a better movie than that. Anyone could have made a more interesting character than Rey. Or bring back Luke in some kind of like, give him like one last send-off that feels more meaningful than him just force projecting himself on the planet, not really fighting, and then dying from it. I mean, think about it. Leia survived in space. Why? Because she used the Force, or the Force let her live. But Luke died force projecting himself, which I don't even get how that whole entire thing doesn't really make sense to me, because okay, he would have to train to use that ability. So if force projecting yourself can kill you, he, in retrospect, wouldn't be able to know how to do it, because it would have killed him while trying to train to do it. Like, do you sort of follow my like train of thought there? Like, he would have to train to learn how to force project, and that would have killed him. So it's just like, why is that a force power that anyone would even try? Like, why would he even try to learn that if he knows, like, oh, that would kill me if I try to do that, so that's stupid. So this has turned into a little rant, but that's just my feelings. It's just like, LucasFilm needs to, the people that are running it just need to go. Like, it's just, make Star Wars good again. They lost their opportunity to give, Luke, Han, and Leia, like, proper send-offs, and it's just, they botched it. Unfortunately, we've been waiting for 40 years to see see what happened, and, they brought back Empire 2.0, and they tried to copy Luke's character being Rey and all these things, and they tried to make it a sequel / reboot, and just it didn't work. It doesn't work. Like, try to do something original. Actually take risks. Don't just try to copy it and then like pat yourself on the back because you made Rey this indestructible human being that no one can identify with. It's just stupid. So that's my thoughts. I'm probably gonna keep doing more rants like this because that's the only way I can kind of cope with how bad. Like, I was so happy when Disney bought Star Wars. Like, I'm like, great. Like, we're gonna see Star Wars for the rest of my life. But oh my gosh, it's so bad. Like, it's so bad. Like, I don't even get how people like it. Like, I don't even get, if you believe in this SJW stuff, like, I don't even get, how are these characters even, like, good for you? Like, how, they made them so lame. Like, they make them so lame and dumb and stupid. Oh, gosh.